Hey guys, it's Miss Bankston, and it is 12:33 a.m. on Tuesday, March 24th, and I wanted to take some time and go over some of my ICEV stuff. And for you guys that are in my advanced animal science class, I want to go over that material with you because I think it is a bit much, especially since we haven't really been hitting any of that really hard, and I know there's no way you guys covered a lot of that stuff last year or before, because I think all this would be new or newly introduced this year. Um, if you go to the login.icevonline.com/login and type in your username, I'm using Izzy the Masterful Diva right now. I created an account for her so she could do her lessons with you guys. But actually, I just needed a practice student with, or to do this with, and she graciously volunteered. And I'm going to go ahead and log in. And I'm going to go to the Advanced Animal Science course, or my courses. She's enrolled in all the ag classes. She's an overachiever. And I want to tell you right now, you're going to hear background noise because her and Oscar are in the middle of a crazy dog fight playing around. Farmer's outside barking at all the cows, and it's just kind of crazy here. So, anyway, I tried to wait till everybody went to sleep, but you can tell that it's not going to work. So I'm going to click view the lesson. Our first lesson is over basic reproduction of animals. Some of you guys did that today or did that yesterday on Monday, the 23rd. But I want to go over it with you guys because, like I said, this is a lot of information. And if I had it to do all over again, I would not include this on our online stuff because this is actually stuff that we need to go over with hands-on, face-to-face kind of thing. So, but circumstances have made it to where we can't, so we're going to go over it like this. If you want to do your student notes as I'm going through this, this is the way that I recommend doing it because it's just easier that way. Once you get to the PowerPoint or the main presentation, you're going to come down here to the little X and you're going to click it, and it's going to bring it up nice and big. Once you've done that, you're going to go back to the ICEV lesson detail, and you're going to scroll down and click Basic Reproduction Student Notes, and click on that. It's going to pop those up, and after you've done that, you're going to come up here back to the Advanced Animal Science Online, and you're going to click on it, and you're going to pop that tab out, and you're going to click the restore down or the minimize, and you're going to ooch it over here to the right, and then you're going to go back in here to the basic reproduction of animals PowerPoint, and you're going to restore down, and then you're going to click over here and ooch it over, and you can go through these at the same time. You can fill them out as you're going. To me, that's just so much easier because I'm not going to pay attention and remember if I were y'all. I'm just saying. Just speaking the truth. Okay, so we're going to start this. I'm over here in my PowerPoint, and I can do marker tools too. I may do that as we go. Alright, so next, the objectives of this lesson is not to make you guys miserable while you're quarantined or whatever. It is to actually provide learning so that since we're not in the classroom, and that it is something that you guys do want to do and that you're interested in. This one is a bit much, like I said, but we're going to get through it together. The objectives of this lesson are to analyze the hormones which affect the reproductive system of animals and examine the major parts and functions of the female and male reproductive system, and to discover the process of fertilization of two gametes. Now, gametes is one of your vocabulary words, and gametes are the egg. So, if you eat an egg in the morning for breakfast, it is a gamete. It's the scientific name for it. So, you learned something new today. Click next. What we're going to go over today is just the basic reproduction. I will post the endocrinology lesson when I get it taped later or whatever later. And then I'm going to go to next. And we're on basic reproduction. Reproduction is a series of physiological and psychological events which must be properly timed. In animals, it's either asexual or sexual. So I'm going to go over here to where I've had my window minimized, and I'm going to click on it is psychological and physiological events, and in animals it is either asexual or sexual. And then I'm going to click next. And then I'm going to come over here to my PowerPoint and click next. Asexual reproduction involves one parent. It lacks variation as the offspring tend to have the same genotype and phenotype. For example, flatworms can be divided into two halves, and each half grows into a separate organism. Genotype is the physical appearance of an organism, and phenotype is the physical characteristics of an organism determined by both the genetic makeup and environmental influences. Without going into a great, long, in-depth lesson over all that, we're just going to put what is in here. So, it lacks variation as the offspring tend to have the same genotype, meaning their physical characteristics, and phenotype. I said that wrong. Genotype is the physical appearance, and the phenotype is the physical characteristics. And then it goes over that. I don't care if y'all read the rest of that. We've already read it once. Next. Okay. Sexual reproduction requires two parents or the fusion of two gametes, two sex cells, meaning, for example, a sperm and an egg. When those fuse together, those are considered gametes. They're sex cells. It involves the production of sperm and eggs. Some are produced by the same individual, some are produced by different individuals, and it promotes variation as offspring inherit genes from the two different parents. Gametes are a reproductive cell, either a sperm or an egg, capable of fusing with a gamete of the opposite sex to produce a fertilized egg. So we're going to skip over here. It involves the production. And there's your answer. We're going to go to next. And then we're going to go to next again. Sexual reproduction. Anatomy and physiology vary in systems of animals and include the following: internal fertilization and external fertilization. So I'm going to come over here, anatomy, and then internal fertilization. And then I'm going to click next. I'm going to click next over here. Internal fertilization is practiced by animals which lay shelled eggs, chicken, or have a period of embryonic development. It enables land animals to reproduce as it allows sperm to swim to the egg and prevents the sperm and egg from drying out. They have a copulatory organ or penis in males for transferring sperm. Fun fact, the sexes of vertebrates are separate, but some vertebrates can change sex, normally in fish. I'm not even going there, it's too late. Okay, I'm going to come over here to my answers, or to my notes. Enables land animals to reproduce as it allows the sperm to swim to the egg, yada yada yada, and it keeps them from drying out. They have a copulatory organ or penis in males for transferring sperm. Next, and then we're going to go here next. External fertilization is used by animals living in aquatic environments. For example, frogs. The animal sperm must swim to the eggs. It protects the gametes from drying out because they're in the water, and it requires the gametes to be released into the water at the same time and place. Okay, if we went over all that and started talking about fish and trout and all that stuff, I know you guys have heard that before, but that's basically what that's talking about. It means that the eggs are fertilized outside of the body of the parent, the female parent especially. So, it is used by animals living in aquatic, meaning water, environments, and it requires the gametes to be released into the water at the same time and place. So, it means the eggs have to be deposited and the sperm have to be deposited outside the body. So, let's say that the frogs are in the water, they lay their eggs. As they lay their eggs, the sperm is emitted by the male, and the at the about the same time that the eggs are being laid, or around the same time, and they go to that, and the eggs then form. I just lost my train of thought, but they form an embryo, and then the embryo becomes an adult outside the female body, whereas in mammals, it's all internal. So I'm going to click finish. All questions have been attended. Do you want to submit the activity now? Answer is heck yeah. And I submit it. Let's see how we did. We got 6 out of 6. So that means you got 100 on the notes for today. That's how easy the notes are. I'm going to hit return to the lesson. And I'm going to click no. And then I'm going to scroll down here where it says printable and all these resources. I want to look at the vocabulary handout, because these are the vocabulary words for this. So let's look at the ones that we've already talked about. We talked about genotype. We talked about phenotype. We talked about gametes. You guys know what sperm is? Skip. We haven't talked about this yet. Okay. So the ones that we did talk about, and I can't highlight them on here, I'm sorry, because I'm not on my iPad. But we've talked about genotype, phenotype. Those are the two vocabulary, or two. We've talked about 2 or 3 of the vocabulary words on here. So I'm going to go back to my lesson detail. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit next. And then our next section is endocrinology. And I am not going to record that right now. I will come back to that later. So stay tuned for more of basic reproduction of animals.